Artorias kind of in the UK scene playing was the Hecarim Fizz top lane meta, which is a fair while ago now.
Last October, September time?
My memory is not good enough to tell you exactly when it was, but yeah, it was certainly an interesting meta, that one. But here we go, fairly different meta, I would say now. There's a good mix of kind of tanky top laners. There's still a couple of carry top laners, but not so much the thing right now. But let's take a look at these bans that we've got coming through. Gragas, Nidalee, Alistair and Braum so far.
Twisted Fate going out against Candy Floss, as we know he is the Twisted Fate master. Cadril actually not playing again this week. Candy Floss in him sub for him as well, so this is something that we didn't notice, because we don't really look at the lobby until we're fully into Champ Select, and now we're there here, and now I'm faced with, actually, there's Artorias up there for what was Gash and Slash, and now Candy Floss has come in for Cadril, despite Cadril being here last week.
Well, I mean, it worked out for them the week before last when they
But they didn't look
Candy
strong.
Floss.
You know, they didn't look as strong with Candy Floss in the mid lane.
No.
He will be the first to admit, he's not a mid lane player. He is a jungle player. He is Challenger because he's a fantastic jungler. He picks TF because he knows how to affect the map. And it's going to be Lulu. It's one of the only times we haven't seen it banned against MNM, and it's going to be a first pick here.
Yeah, and I mean, Lulu, incredibly strong champion right now. It's the ultimate in kind of safety net champions. You can't really be counterpicked if you just go for that Lulu first pick. It's an incredibly safe first pick. There's very few compositions that it doesn't fit into.
Yes, I completely agree. And also it's Half-Past Thor's most played champion. Half-Past Thor is previous to Zillion, you know, when everyone banned Zillion against him, which, by the way, is still available. So we could potentially even see Artorias play Lulu top, which does still work in some senses. Yeah. It's a champion that Half-Past Thor had banned against him every single time because he just played so much of that champion. His mastery on that at that level was so high. What is so interesting is because we're playing on live, we've got a lot of changes that have just come through today.
Yes.
Fiora is not as strong anymore. People have been saying that Fiora is gutted. And I'm not so sure. I still think Fiora has her place and she still scales incredibly well. However, her early game has been hit pretty hard.
The thing is that about this kind of nerf is it's like people have been so used to her being so strong for a very long time that it will feel like she's been gutted because you're directly comparing it to a champion that was, in my eyes at least, pretty OP. So it's kind of it's going to feel like you've been completely gutted because you can no longer just do almost ridiculous things.
The interesting thing about it is that basically they changed it so that once you proc a vital, not the vitals on your ultimate, once you proc a vital, it actually just reduces I think the heal and the flat damage you do with it, so it's down to 2%, but it now scales with AD better, so it benefits Fioras that would build high AD values and straying away from things like the Titanic Hydra maybe, because that also took a little bit of a nerf left this patch as well. And if we do see Fioras, it could be that they come through with the Ravenous Hydra again, because that was what we classically saw Fioras run with. And also her blade work. Her blade work has had its extra range that it gives you halved, and the slow has been nerfed as well. So that means it's going to be a lot less easy for you to trade with blade work when you're trying to proc a vital. And again, it's just her early game that's been here. Interestingly enough, I think, my opinion, the thing that made Fiora OP, ultimate hasn't been touched. So you still have the ability to completely shred through tanks, and it just rewards that play of all-in, dancing around your opponent.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Let's take a look at some of the other picks that we've got locked in, because we've been talking about Fiora. She's not actually in the game just yet. But
I like to go on. When new patches come out, I do like to just discuss with you about things that happen.
And I mean, to be fair, it explains why we're not seeing Fiora necessarily locked in, because typically in the UK scene, we have seen a lot of Fiora. But here we go. We've got a Gangplank top, Kindred. We've got Lee Sin, Soraka. Are we actually going to see Soraka Janna? That seems incredibly unlikely. I'm not even going to go there just yet. We've got Karma locked in, as well as Illusion. Do you reckon that's Karma support?
I'm sure that it could be Karma mid lane, but we have seen Hiva play some Karma support.
We saw Adrian play it in the LCS.
Yeah, Adrian played it in the LCS.
Terrifying.
It does a lot of damage. People completely understand. That is actually Janna support. Now,
we've got Soraka mid.
I will talk about this in a second, once we've gone through everything. I am kind of interested into this. Now, Soraka, most people would say, since the changes to her... Yeah, and I can see your face. Soraka had some changes. It's now far easier to get the full damage from your Q and get the slow, because it just is a complete AoE area. But I still don't think this is going to be a return to the old Soraka mid, where you spam Q and just kill people slowly, you know. Like,
I'm really sad that this has even been considered as a pick. The old
cheese.
Soraka mid was bad enough.
This is cheese. And oh my word, that's actually Karma mid with a Leona bot lane.
Have a Leona, yes. Okay, so this is like pretty much the ultimate in we don't ever want to fight defensive compositions, and the ultimate in we are going to dive you attack compositions.
So Renegades have basically, I think what Renegades are saying here is that they think it's Soraka support and Janna mid, which does actually kind of make more sense, right? So you pick the Leona into the Soraka to go for the hard engage whenever you can, because realistically Janna is one of the better picks that you can pick into Leona, because you can disengage from her blade, you know, her E gap closing ability. It's a bit like Zenith Blade. You can use your tornado, a bit like Thresh's Flay, just to stop that from happening. So I imagine they think this is Soraka support, but what we're seeing here is actually Soraka mid, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Or something that would kind of fit the tone of Renegades in general would be they don't mind that they're against that Janna support. They're quite happy to take that matchup, even if it's not necessarily the easiest matchup to play out. It wouldn't really surprise me coming out of Yuki and Hiva. They've never seemed to be too nervous going into any bot lane before.
Yeah, and I think now Renegades have realised, obviously, they've just gone into game, they've realised it's Soraka mid, but I think Karma's a decent matchup into Soraka, because you are never going to effectively be able to trade. I'm actually really interested to see how Half Past Door's attempting to farm with Soraka. She doesn't
I mean, this is the guy that was like the supreme farm lord when it came to Zilean, and other mids in the UK really were struggling to keep those numbers up. So maybe he's been practicing this hard.
Yeah, I mean, okay, this is obviously something that they've been practicing. What I find really odd is that Zilean being open, and for what they are going for here is a protect the Jhin comp. So they're just saying Jhin is going to carry us through all of this game. Therefore, we're just going to have every champion is designed to do literally 0 damage, except for Lulu, who can do a bit. And we're putting all our eggs and Smoky Lemon on this Jhin to carry us through the game.
Yeah.
So they're never going to split versus Gangplank. That's never going to happen. Artorias can clear waves, but he's never going to win the split versus Gangplank.
No.
And obviously the rest of them are going to group up and try and just keep Smoky Lemon as safe as possible. So this is just a classic protect the Jhin comp, but when I say classic, it's not classic at all. You've got Soraka mid, which I was originally going back to the original point I was about to make there, is why didn't you pick Zilean? Like, wave clear is better.
Yeah.
Wave clear is better. You have a bona fide Guardian Angel with a huge regen on it, and we know that Harper still can play Zilean incredibly well, so I just feel like Zilean would have potentially been a better choice here.
Yeah.
However, the silence from Soraka, this is something that a lot of people have been saying, it's a ridiculously broken ability.
I mean, well, in the same respect that a lot of people say Graves' smokescreen can be broken, if used correctly, then it can be kind of a broken, but it's the way that it kind of locks out an entire area. It's like, this is a do not enter zone, and if you go there late, it's also a route on top of it.
What's so interesting is that basically, when you're trying to protect an AD with your Soraka, you actually put the silence field on your AD, so that when someone jumps onto him, they can't use their skills to try and burn that AD down. The AD just gets out and they get stunned up, and then you heal. You're just healing that AD over and over again.
Yeah.
That's just part of the way the Soraka works. Now, what I'm trying to find out here is how useful that's going to be against the composition from RNG, which, as I talk about it now, Gangplank split push, you have the protection of Impaler, but he's going to be very aggressive. I'm interested to see how he does it up against Tohaj in this Lee Sin. And then you kind of have a semi-Sivir ultimate, in the sense that you have that boosted shield from the Karma, who will then just run everyone in. You run that Leona in with the shield, you just try and get the engage when you can. Good AoE team fight with the Karma, with the Gangplank ultimate, the Leona to an extent. They've got a pretty decent composition to try and deal with this Jhin. It just depends how many layers of protection they have to burn through to be able to take him down. And I imagine if Leona does jump onto the Jhin to lock him up, that silence field comes down immediately. She might not even be able to proc that shield.
Shield of Daybreak. Shield of Daybreak. But here we go. We're into the loading screen. So we're going to get this first game underway between the Renegade Banditos and the Molotovs and Marshmallows. Soraka mid has been locked in. It's going to be rolling heal as well. I've got to be honest, the big question here for me in terms of...
Is that Soraka running Grasp of the Undying?
I believe so, yes. I believe so.
Okay. Okay.
But the real question here for me, for MNM, is where does the wave clear come from?
That's the issue. They don't really have it. I mean, Lulu provides. If Lulu can keep her AP levels high, then she should be able to maintain a semi sort of level of wave clear. And I think maybe we're potentially underestimating how much a full AP Soraka can clear.
Yeah.
The problem is I've never seen, or haven't seen for a very long time since the rework, a full AP Soraka. So I have absolutely no idea.
That's true.
How much wave clear that she can get with her Starfall or with her Eclipse. You know, that kind of thing just.
It's quite short cooldown as well, but we are on to Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen, so let's get this game underway, and we'll see. I mean, as you say, the cooldown's actually very short on Starfall, if you max it, so maybe there's more than meets the eye here. Maybe we're just kind of missing a trick, and I mean, if there's somebody who knows these off-meta champions and knows what he can abuse, it's definitely Half Past Thor, so we'll have to wait and see what they have in store for us here. Heaver not quite able to grab that ward for himself, but we'll just replace it with a ward of his own anyway. So very, very standard starts coming out here. We're not going to see anything too crazy to start this match off.
Now, Soraka's got Corrupting Potion.
Yeah.
So, which I think is fairly sensible against a Kama. She's got Grasp of the Undying. She probably needs that for the kind of self-heal. Obviously, now that she lands that Starfall, she can, or Starcool rather, she can get that regeneration on her. She doesn't heal flat values anymore. She gets something called the regeneration, which basically heals her over a short period of time. I am completely perplexed, though. It's not something I've seen.
No, I can't say it's something I was particularly expecting coming into this game, but we'll have to wait and see. Doesn't manage to get his first CS of the game, so it's obviously working out so far. But we'll have to wait and see how this one pans out. Honestly, in terms of the mid lane on laning phase, I don't think we're going to see all that much aggression really coming out from these guys. I would expect it to be a fairly passive lane.
Yeah, I think, end of the day, every lane, I think, from MNM is going to be passive. I don't think we're going to see any forced aggression. You can already see here they're keeping themselves well back from Heaver, who they're already going in with the Zenith Blade.
Yeah, they are indeed. Prosper's going to be locked up. Look at the damage. Ignite is down as well, and they're going to be very happy with that one. One summoner for one summoner, though, as heal did come out of Smoky Lemon, but no flash or exhaust came out. So now we're going to see another Zenith Blade. They're going very aggressive in this bottom lane. The heal's already been used, so they can just get this free damage. But I say free damage, it's traded fairly well across, considering
it was a really,
MNM were only
it was
level
a really good trade until that little trade happened there, because actually all the damage went on to Yuki and Smoky Lemon remained fairly healthy. And obviously once a support takes damage, that's absolutely fine because they have a lot of... They're going, wow, flash already burnt.
Yeah, I mean, Impaler coming into lane, that was a very nice snare coming out from Candy Floss, so just going to be able to force that flash out there. But Impaler going to be able to get a very nice early mark coming out from the Skull Crab here.
That's something I've seen a lot, and I've been playing a lot of sort of ranked recently, and every Kindred seems to get the Rift Scuttler as their first mark.
Yeah, well, here we go. Yuki going to be caught up in this bottom lane, but Tohash is locked up. There's a flash coming out from Smoky Lemon. It will get first blood. Knockup is going to land onto Heaver as well as the root, and that's a kill for Prosper as well. Double kill comes out for MNM, and their bot lane is the first in the Premiership to be ahead in lane.
Oh my word, this is something we're just not used to seeing from Renegades. They never get behind in this bot lane, and it was just a useful little abuse of lack of vision. Impaler obviously wanting to spend his time in that mid lane because of the Soraka. Didn't go down towards their bot, especially because of the mark as well. I guess they imagined that Impaler would likely be farming his mark, and they just saw him in the mid, so they knew it was absolutely free gank in that bot lane. And Yuki and Heaver, they didn't have the early vision that they needed to make sure that they kept themselves safe. Lee Sin started top, he went through to that red buff. The natural progression for a Lee Sin is to then head towards bot or mid. Well, he didn't turn up mid when Impaler was there, so you had to kind of be worried as to where Lee Sin could actually be. And I guess they were going to ward, and they just literally caught him out as he was going to ward.
Yeah, absolutely, and well played by them, but here we go, the answer coming out from the Banditos here. They're looking towards this mid lane. Half Past Thor has to be careful, but I don't think they've found anything just yet. They're going to go on to Tohash, who is actually going to have to use his pink ward to jump away there. I don't think that's going to be stolen away, though. I don't think they want to commit, but they get the Wraiths.
Look at the next mark for Impaler. It's just the other Rift Scuttler. So this is just perfect for
He's
him.
well happy.
Yeah, this is 2 marks in a very short period of time for Impaler, and he's going to be thoroughly happy. Alphari are going to go back now. Obviously, even on low health values, you need to be careful of the burst that Lulu can put through, and Artorias only 5 CS behind, should be able to clear this one up pretty quickly. All flash is gone in the bot lane as well, so this is going to be something that maybe Tohaj can exploit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whether Tohaj comes down or not, Prospect does still have his flash as well, so it's going to be difficult for Hiva and Yuki to jump on in and start any fights. But I mean, it was already difficult for them to start fights against this bottom lane anyway. Hiva just going to proc that trap just to deny it. But here we go. We've got Impaler heading down into this bottom lane. He's managed to sneak his way into this first brush. We'll see if they can use this to start a fight at all. Teleport has just been used by both top laners, so we're not going to have any intervention. It's just going to be people who are actually at the scene of the crime.
Tohaj is heading back as well. He's just gone, and look at this. It's Hiva he's trying to bait them in. He misses the Zenith Blade.
That's painful. And he took half of his HP and damage for that as well. So
yeah.
Trying a little bit kind of too hard to bait that one. I think MNM were well aware of the situation, had no reason to extend any further than they did, so well played by them.
Janna just had a recent nerf as well, by the way. She basically, her flat AD values that the shield provides have been nerfed quite considerably, and also the amount of time you spend disabled when hit by Monsoon has also been hit by about a third. So you would spend 0.75 seconds disabled when Monsoon happened originally. Now it's 0.5 seconds. So it's a small nerf to Janna, and I think there's a needed nerf because Janna was such a ridiculously good champion in that respect. And Half Past Thor, 45 CS, going straight for what looks to be that Negatron cloak potentially, or maybe even into a ZZ Rot portal. Let's not count that out. I've seen a lot of Soraka's...
Guardian Angel first item, boys.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of ZZ Rot portals on supports and also on things like Soraka just because of how strong that item is right now. Even though it also got a nerf in the last patch, it's now far easier to kill. Regardless of the champion, it only takes 5 auto attacks.
Okay, well... We'll have to see.
Good wave clear.
It is. Like I said before, not very long cooldown, so he's doing a decent job of just clearing away these minion waves, and that's just going to become easier and easier the longer the game goes on. So only being 5 CS down against Karma, really don't think is the end of the world for him. So I think he's. I think it's already safe to say he's done a good job during this laning phase. Artorias just getting chunked out of lane though, and Impaler is looking to capitalize. Does have his splash available. Actually, Cannon Barrage comes out as well, but that's going to be a wish from Half Past Thor. And that is going to be one safe top laner in the end, but it does mean that Alfari can just shove this all the way under tower, and in the meantime Impaler's going to steal away blue buff. Or at least he's going to try. The smite is going to be there, and he does manage to get it, so good steal. Tohaj can't quite finish it.
Another mark in that River Scuttler. He has been the luckiest Kindred in the world right now. All the marks have been at neutral objectives that are very easily contested, and given how much control has been given to Renegades of these river areas, Impaler has been soaking these marks up for free. That's his 3rd mark of the game right there. Absolutely fantastic
Christmas
for him.
come early for Impaler.
Exactly.
But here we go. We are going to see a route onto Half Past Thor. Good bit of damage coming out from Candy Floss, but the thing is, it's so hard to get that damage to stick against the Soraka. He's got that corrupting potion that is going to be taken away, and if he lands a single Q, it will heal him for so much, because he is going to be maxing that one, so I'll have to wait and see. And I mean, that's just corrupting potion sustain. He's not even landed a Q, and he's already almost back to full HP, but it's going to, by the looks of things, head back to base down in this bottom lane. We've got this wave has gone down. MNM not quite back to lane just yet, but 10 CS lead in favour of the Banditos in both the bottom lane and in that mid lane. And if you look up to the top lane, it's a 20 CS lead.
Yeah, it's definitely...
Oh, Artorias. Actually, he's going to get slowed here. He's in a little bit of trouble. That's going to be the barrel damage coming out. Wild Growth does come through, but it's not going to be enough to save him. Impaler picks up a kill.
Good map presence by Impaler. He knew he'd burnt the flash, or rather, Alfari had burnt the flash of Artorias on that chase behind the turret and moved straight up. And again, look at the vision control for Renegades on that blue side of the map. And they've got a pink that hasn't been cleared by Tohaj, even though he walked straight past it when contesting that blue buff. And they've managed to pink up that river area on the top side. So they've just got complete control of Alfari's lane, who is probably going to be the majority of the damage when they come towards the later portions of the game, because he is that gangplank. And what's so interesting for me, Munch, is that now that Fioran potentially isn't going to be seen as much in that top lane, how much are we going to see gangplank? How much are we going to see that king of that top lane return back and actually Half Past Thor
reclaim his throne, I suppose. Half Past Thor is going to be able to get this blue buff. Will get snared by Candy Floss, so can't turn that into any aggression though. But good counter steal here by MNM. Obviously they lost their blue buff to Impaler, so going to be able to equalise that and get that over to the mid laner.
Finally, a hard mark for Kindred to get her hands on. That's probably the toughest mark for any Kindred to get to is the enemy's golems. And they're going to go straight for Dragon here. Impaler will want to control this Dragon. He has gone again for that Devourer.
Ooh, we've got updates available, apparently. Let's just alt-tab that one away.
Do we want the updates windows?
I really don't want the updates right now. I'm just going to do that. And then we're going to exit that page, and then we're going to alt-tab back in game. So apologies for that one, as my camera just goes where it likes. Here we go, we're back in the game.
Worse than bug splat is Windows 10 updates. But yeah, Impaler's going to want control of this Dragon area because he has gone for the Devourer Kindred. It's something that he prefers over the Warrior. I've talked about it every time that he's played Kindred so far. So he needs to control that Dragon because it still provides 5 stacks. You only get the 2 stacks, I believe, from Rift Herald now, or maybe 3. So controlling the Dragon is super important to junglers that rely on that Devourer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dragon has been well and truly controlled here. It's going to be Toash picking it up. So it's going to be 1 Dragon in favour of MNM. They're just over 1,000 gold down currently, but definitely
it's just from CS.
Nothing too huge. Yeah, absolutely. It's 11 minutes into the game, 1,000 gold is not the end of the world. It is still going to be a nice little lead for the Banditos, though. But ever since that bot lane start went wrong, they've really kind of reined it in.
Alfari, that was a masterclass of Gangplank barrel control right there. You barrel in that brush, and then you use a barrel to try and think that you're going to clear the wave, and then immediately throw down another barrel, proc the barrel in the brush, and you catch out the enemy by surprise. A triple barrel surprise for Artorias. And speaking of Artorias, he could be the focus here for Impaler, because this is just such a lane that's snowballing out of control here. We could see the thorough famine Artorias, but he is going up against Alfari.
Yeah, here we go. He does have Wild Growth and Flash available, but duel between the junglers is going on. Impaler going to be the target of Tohash, who's taking so much damage. Wish is nowhere near enough to keep him alive. And that will be a kill over to Impaler here.
Yeah, I'm unsure as to what Tohash thought potentially was going to happen there. He was taking so much damage. Maybe he was looking to force the ultimate and then try and make a play with the kick afterwards. I imagine that was his target, but Impaler just kiting like a beast. In that top lane, Artorias getting dived right now.
He certainly is. Wild Growth comes out. Impaler is going to have to use that Lamb's Respite just to stay alive as Alfari jumps on in as well. But in fact, it is going to be 1-4-1. Both top laners go down. Impaler going to be here just to shove this wave underneath the tower. And actually could be able to take a tower himself. He has dived in the mid lane as well. Half-Past Thor. Playing Soraka, you are going to be able to keep your teammates alive, but you're not got that much self-peel. Yeah,
again, and with regeneration, you don't get immediate full heal. You have to wait some time for that regeneration to take place. Smoky Lemon attempting his best.
Oh, Yuki's been locked up. Can he dodge the bullets? He gets hit by one, but is going to be able to dodge another one. The fourth one, the crit, is not going to hit its target, and that is going to mean that Lucian survives to fight another day. But a lot of damage coming down onto this tower. Hiva looking for a way in, flashes and then misses the Zenith. That was painful to watch, but here we go. Teleport has come in from Alfari. The Gangplank is down into the bottom lane now as Smoky Lemon will go down, but Alfari has been kind of left out to dry by his team here. 3 versus 1 as he chunks out Tohash. It's not quite enough though. Artorias picking up the kill.
That's a 13-minute Triforce Gangplank, so he is going to be hurting at this point in time. We're just waiting on the Rod of Ages for Artorias. He's got a Cull as well. And interestingly, Artorias has gone for Grasp of the Undying. Now, Grasp of the Undying is a very useful sustain tool, but again, the effectiveness of it is halved on champions that are ranged. It's good on Nah because, in general, I think when you go into melee form, you do get the benefit of having the full Grasp of the Undying, but it still helps in some of his longer elongated trades when he's trading in the top lane. But Artorias, on a champion like Lulu, there maybe could have been other... I guess he's probably looking to sustain the lane out against Gangplank, but you don't really get that much benefit from full-time ranged champion. Otherwise, if it was so good for a sustain that ranged champions could use it, every ranged champion in the game would use it. You know, that just doesn't happen though. Yeah. So, you know, I'm kind of wondering how useful this Graph of the Undying has been for Artorias.
The big question for me in terms of Artorias is the fact that we see this Cull come out on a Lulu, which is something that not really seen a whole lot of.
He probably knew that he wanted to farm. Now, what Cull is great for is that if you are just farming, if you are literally just going to be passively attempting to stack that up, it's an item that everyone should buy. And the problem is it just takes so long to make its value come out of the game that it's not applicable in every situation. Like in solo queue, it sometimes is very rarely applicable because the games are so quick-paced. But the way that the game from MNM is looking to be played, they're going to be saying, if we don't get value out of the cull, well, we've lost the game anyway. Because we want the game to go that long, because we need it to go that long. That's what our composition is about.
Yep.
So why not get the cull? You know, you're putting your eggs in one basket, but that basket is the only basket you have to win. So if you can't put your eggs in that basket, your eggs are splatting on the floor.
Great analogy.
I thought that was pretty decent. I was quite happy with that.
I mean, it's just, yeah, I guess. But yeah, so all of his eggs are in that late game basket, and we'll see whether they do splat on the floor or whether MNM are going to be able to turn that into a wonderful cake. But so far, I'm going to just have a recap of...
I like the build on the analogy, it was good.
Oh, no worries, mate. I'm going to have a look at the scoreboard so far. So we've got a 15 CS lead in favour of the Banditos down in this bottom lane. However, Smoky Lemon so far managed to get himself a kill and 2 assists. So in terms of actual gold, I wasn't sure if I could change that to gold while it's paused, but I can.
You can.
There is a 100 gold lead in favour of Smoky Lemon, so really nothing too crazy.
All of the gold
actually, we're
really
back into game now.
All of the gold difference really is in that top lane, and that's just solely through a 50 CS advantage to Alfari. It's starting to open up, and Candy Floss has actually got a 30-odd CS advantage over Half Past Thor in this mid lane, so that's fairly substantial across both the solo lanes you're seeing here. So it's just the pressure that's coming through, and Artorias has received a lot of pressure. They're actually going to switch the lanes over. They're going to send Smoky Lemon and Prosfair top, and Artorias is going to stick in this bot lane now. He knows he probably can't lane effectively against Alfari, so they're going to try and avoid that as much as possible. Impaler now going for that Rift Herald. That is fairly decent target. Half Past Thor.
Yeah, here we go. Candy Floss is going to be able to lock up Half Past Thor, who gets completely locked down and taken out. The whirlwind nowhere near enough, and that's the second time now Soraka has been the target of this aggression. Neither summoners were available there, and that might actually be a mid tower if they can push onto this one, but Tohaj and Prosper are going to be here to at least clear the minions.
This is something that is the issue with Soraka, and why I don't think it's a particularly viable mid pick. You get locked up by any form of hard engage, and you're just dead. Because you don't have that self-heal anymore, you can literally only heal your allies, and your regeneration is used as a war of attrition tool as opposed to a flat-out form of self-heal. So we're literally now just seeing the issues with Soraka as a non-support champion. Now they're going to go on to Artorias here in that bot lane.
Artorias really has been a huge target of Impaler so far this game. Mountain Dread is going to be the damage that finishes off that kill, and that is a 4th kill for Impaler. He's gone for the Devourer, but right now he's not even looking for those jungle camps to get stacks. He's just looking for blood.
Okay, and he's also got a almost 3-level advantage.
Half Past Thor has been found, and he will just get annihilated right here. Tohaj, in the meantime, seems to be the target, as we do see Alfari get caught out a little bit here, but that ultimate from Smoky Lemon, that curtain call, will not be enough to finish him off. Gets a red buff as well, and now they move on to Prosper. Candy Floss is here as well. The damage going to be coming out onto the support, but can they finish him off? That's going to be a nice monsoon to keep him alive, but Candy Floss actually just flashes to finish that one off. Very aggressive forward play, but in the end, it is just going to be a one single kill for the Banditos, and now they might just be looking for more as Candy Floss pushes forward for this one. The trap is going to come out. Smoky Lemon's completely out of mana though, and Alfari's stacking up his barrels. Tohaj cannot save his AD carry and cannot even save himself as the rest of the Banditos enter the lane.
And now Renegades have turned the switch on. They've said, we've had enough of your ridiculous Soraka pick. We've had enough of waiting for you to scale up. We're just going to go straight in. And right now, you're just seeing the results of a very aggressive, hard-engaged team against a team that is really there to play for the late game. Impaler are going to try and pick up yet another stack. This will put him at 6, I believe, with the pickup of that Lee Sin as well. And he's going to go on to Prosper.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's going to be the solar flare just to lock that kill in. And actually a good flash over the wall will mean that Prosper gets away. So ultimate burned as well. Very nicely done by Prosper, but it's going to be both of his summoner spells used for that one. And in the meantime, that mid lane tower did eventually go down. Candy Floss and Yuki just trying to shove these minions as far under that tower as they can. Artorias looking to try and maybe capitalize, but can't find his target.
So with 6 stacks of the Kindred passive, you deal 7.5% of the enemy's current health as bonus physical damage. That's going to really start to chunk out people, especially with the combination of Leona. So you lock someone up with Kindred and Leona, they will almost certainly go from 100 to 0 in a very, very short space of time. And you can see RNG, they've kind of haven't had the ability to put any deep vision down, and a lot of vision clearing has come out for MNM, but this is something they'd lacked, I think, through the majority of this game, and only now we're starting to see some really good defensive wards coming through from MNM. But honestly, this is again this is a 10k gold lead at 17 minutes, Munch, almost. It's almost unwinnable territory for MNM if Renegades keep this pressure up.
I think the big thing to remember as well is at 11 minutes they were saying, oh, there's only a 1,000 gold lead, that's really not that big of a deal. 6 minutes later, or 7 minutes later, we've got almost a 10,000 gold lead, which is a very big deal. Tohaj is going to be able to kick Hiva away here, just to keep himself alive, but really can't turn that into anything. And Hiva going to use that solar flare. They're going aggressive. Flash comes out at half past Thor, but it will get him locked up eventually. Look at all the healing coming out onto them though, and Hiva is going to be the front line target, but he's going to be able to walk away with this one in the end. Damage now coming out onto Smoky Lemon. Look at the crits coming out from Alfari. Just bursts him down. And they finally get that kill. And this is just the power of a gold lead right now. No matter how much MNM used to manage to survive as long as they can, there's always going to be something more that the Renegades can do.
The disengage was just so intense coming out from the Renegades. But even with all of their flashes, with all of the disengage, with Monsoon, with Wish, they still couldn't prevent the only member of their team that they had to protect from dying.
Yeah.
If Smoky Lemon goes down, MNM have literally nothing. They have nothing to help them win a team fight. That's the simple crux of their composition right here.
Yeah, I think like the issue that they're going to find, especially at this point in the game, is even if they can keep him alive, like, I mean, he can't really achieve that much at just 19 minutes in the game. He's not going to have the damage to win a team fight, kind of 1v5 as it were, but we'll have to see whether they can stall it out later. I mean, they haven't even lost any inhibitors yet, so they're certainly not out of the game, but this is going to be the second dragon of the game, taken up here by the Banditos, so
and that's also a stacked Impaler now. He's fully stacked on that Devourer, so he's going to hit a huge spike at this point in time. The ultimate from Leone comes down, hits absolutely nobody.
Here we go.
Close enough, though.
Second tier tower push in this bottom lane. They're looking to try and really start to get control of this map now. Trap is going to be able to deny some of those minions from pushing, but it's not really going to be enough for too long. And look at this, they go for the dive. In fact, Smoky Lemon is going to be the target. Wish comes out and it will keep him alive. His teleport is going to be channeled by Artorias. Tohaj getting onto Hiva. This is going to be the curtain call coming on through. Great kick straight out of the curtain call. Impaler now on this front line. Lamb's respite keeps him alive and he has to jump back away from the fight. Artorias now locked up at the front line of this combat.
No.
But look at the damage coming out from Alfari. Picks up the AD carry with those barrels.
And this is the problem for MNM now, is that once Smoky Lemon is dead, they can't defend this turret. They've got no damage, and look, RNG
they're going for more as well. Artorias just gets blown apart right now, and they can just search for kills all day long. This tower will eventually go down, but it really doesn't have to be priority for them. Prosper as well. The flash chain is going to come out from Candy Floss, and Prosper gets finished off.
The issue for me, for MNM, is that because of the way that this RNG composition works, you've got a Karma, you've got a Leona, and you've got a Gangplank. Where can Smoky Lemon position correctly to avoid all of the damage that he needs to avoid to make sure that he doesn't get killed? Where does he position? Because you saw there, he was at the back line. He was scared to move up to do the damage, and that's an issue in itself, because if your AD carry is scared to get to a position to do damage, then you can't protect him, or there's no point protecting him, because he's not going to carry your team.
Yeah.
And when he does step up, the Gangplank barrel basically half-shot him, and then killed him eventually. So, where do you win as Smoky Lemon and MNM? If your AD carry can't do damage, or your AD carry is scared to do damage, where do you win?
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for him, but here we go. Hiva has I feel like Hiva kind of just being a little bit silly there, stayed very far up. That he definitely knew he was.
I think a lot of the RNG places, again, we're seeing from RNG when they generally tend to be winning, is they play silly in the sense that they can just win more. They dive towers, and they maybe don't necessarily need to dive towers. They go for plays by themselves, and they don't necessarily need to make them, but they're doing it because they are just so far ahead. And look at this, they're Baron, they're one member down. The entire MNM's lineup is at full health, and they're just going to go straight for Baron.
Yeah, I feel like this one isn't overly risky though at the end of the day, because should this fight happen, I think they can win 4 versus 5, and they're definitely going to go for this one as well. Alphari jumping forwards is going to force that Monsoon out of Prosper. But in the end, they do have to back away from this one. They decide this is not something that they want to commit to right now.
But they couldn't get the Baron anyway. I think without Leona, you lose a lot of your hard engage, so they couldn't really realistically take that Baron.
No, but I think as well they could maybe trick MNM into starting a fight right there, which they definitely could have turned into a Baron, but we'll have to wait and see what the next move is. I mean, MNM are definitely on the back foot here. What's the play from them? Is there anything they can do to pull themselves back into this game?
Maybe contest Baron and get a win here. Smoky Lemon was a bot clearing that wave. It's going to be that RNG goes straight for this Baron here, and Pela does have that stacked Devourer. He will be doing a lot of damage to it. They are forced to disengage though.
Yeah, and actually the Solar Flare going to be flashed away from by half past Thor, but Zenith Blade will not be able to escape from that one. Wild Growth is going to keep him alive though, and look at this, he's actually going to be able to survive this engage. And Pela going a little bit too far forward, but he still has that Lamb's Respite available, so he's really not that afraid. But he got polymorphed, and that is going to be his demise. Now Hiva gets locked up. That's going to be Sonic Wave landing from Tohaj, who's looking for the kill, and it will go over to Smoky Lemon. A nice kick onto Alphari is going to lock him up. Exhaust secures that kill, but here we go from the side. Yuki is looking for the 1 versus 4, and he might have just found it. That's going to be a triple kill. Quadra kill comes out for Yuki. Him and Candy Floss just sweeping up shop. He's looking for the pentakill at this point. He's going to be able to dodge away from that route, and there is... Oh, in fact, it's a quadra kill. Who? I don't even know who stole that one, but...
It happened. It happened.
In my eyes, that was a pentakill, because that was disgusting.
Again, I think that was an awfully played fight from RNG, especially, you know, in Pela.
Well, I meant from Yuki specifically.
No. I mean, just RNG in general, I think, played that fight terribly. And they did. That was so much closer than it needed to be. And Pela went a little too deep. He got polymorphed, didn't respect the amount of damage that could come through from him. It just, again, this is the kind of play that we criticized RNG for in the past. And they're only winning because they are so far ahead. You don't see this from Manlight. Manlight never make these kind of plays.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one, but here we go. They are still ahead. They've got 15,000 gold lead, and they are looking to slowly but surely close this one out, and certainly having a bit of fun doing it. Quadra kill came out there for Yuki. 5, 1, and 2 on that Lucian now, so it's definitely a force to be reckoned with. Hiva just trying to make sure that they don't lose vision of this Baron area completely. But isn't going to be able to contest anything just yet. Needs to wait for the rest of his team. But here we go, Alphari down in this bottom lane, going to be pushing away.
Yeah, and again, like I said, right at the start, you aren't going to be able to split push versus Alphari. As a Lulu, you're just going to be clearing the waves. Hiva has gone for what looks to be a Warmogs, which again, he's got mobility moots and maybe picking up a Warmogs. Not the most ideal support itemization that you could pick up for in the world, but when you're this far ahead, I suppose it doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, there we go. Yuki flashing away from the curtain call there. But yeah, I mean, Warmogs is not... It's not exactly been meta for quite a long time.
It's a terrible item. The issue with Warmogs is just a terrible item.
It used to be great.
Yeah, it did, yeah. But at the moment, it's just...
Force to Nature Warmogs, that was my favourite build. After you've finished your Heart Gold, of course.
Mate, back in the day. Let's not get nostalgic here.
I'm always nostalgic. That's my secret.
They're trying to set up a pick here, and then they just notice that there's a belt.
There it is. There's the ward. I think there's only one ward. That was the only ward.
There's a ward in the banana brush.
I wouldn't have spotted him on that corner, but yeah, they definitely saw that one from that middle of the river brush ward. I don't even know what that brush is called. Does that brush have a name?
Little brush. We'll just call it Little Brush.
Little Brush. That sounds like a nickname in the hood. There's some guy that's got a little afro or something. Anyway,
you're the whitest.
I know.
The whitest man
I know. It's a curse. But here we go. Baron going to be started off again here. And it looks like they might just be able to take this one, to be quite honest. There it is, going to be finished off, and now they're looking for a fight. Candy Floss going to be leading the charge onto half past Thor. Culling comes out, and Prosper is all on his own. We do see Alfari flash doesn't actually get in range for the parlay. That is painful to watch. And actually cannon barrage use. That seems a little bit overkill, but it is going to mean that it's a 1-for-1. I'm not 100% sure why Candy Floss went quite that deep. 1 versus 4, but there you go.
Why not? You know, why not?
Sometimes you just don't know, you know.
Anyway, they are going to push on with this Baron. They only have 2 minions, but they think they're pretty confident they can take this tower.
Yeah, well, they're going to go for it. Hiva is actually just going to straight up go for the dive here. He's taking a whole lot of damage and will get punished for that.
So why do you need to make that play? There is no need.
It's not a matter of need. It's like Christmas presents. It's just what you want to do. It's not what you need to do. But there we go. There's a kill for Impaler. Lamb's Respite is going to keep him alive, but in the meantime, this inhibitor tower is going to be taken on down. Impaler still surviving somehow and will be able to sidestep. He gets away with that. And in the meantime, he got a kill as well onto Artorias. This is going to be the inhibitor going down, and that is the power of Lamb's Respite used correctly right there.
Impaler is just a master of Kindred. I think, honestly, if Impaler hadn't done so well on this champion, I think RNG would be struggling, because the rest of their lanes didn't particularly have the most stomping of starts, especially the bot lane, where we eventually saw MNM pick up that early lead. But that is the only lead that MNM have had in this game. Everything else has been RNG, full 5th gear ahead type thing. And honestly, we didn't expect anything less.
No.
It's just another classic display of RNG playing, knowing they're better than everybody else, knowing that they're incredibly far ahead, and making the kind of plays that suit that playstyle.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. Hiva just going to be, again, kind of hiding out in the enemy territory almost, it feels like. They have got that middle inhibitor now. All of the tier 2s are down, so it's just a matter of choosing which lane they want to start sieging on next. And this is the point in the game as well where that issue of lack of wave clear is really going to come to the forefront for MNM.
Yes, I agree. But I don't think any amount of wave clear in the world would stop the plan that RNG have, which is basically use Leona to dive turrets every single moment of the day. Gypsy now the target.
Depends if you can clear waves of champions.
I said Gypsy, but that's actually their clan tag.
It is indeed. That is going to be maybe traded straight back across, though. Toha's just escaping with that one. Wish had to come out from half past Thor, but it was Yuki taken down, who is really the main source of damage. Well, actually, I say that. Take a look at the scoreline for Impaler.
I would argue Impaler is probably the main source of damage. Look, they're just going to go for it. They have one-man disadvantage here, but they don't really mind at this point in time. Well, just watch Hiva. There you go.
This is going to be the dive going down. He's tanking up double towers, does manage to dodge the root, but it's nowhere near enough. He just gets obliterated. And now look at the barrel damage coming out from Alfari as well. Even though there's only 3 of them here, they're still looking to pressure on towards the end of the game right now. I think they do need to back away because everybody else can just go heal on Fountain. But
like I said, they don't care about the wave clear because that's what Hiva will just do. Every single time that he gets the opportunity, he just jumps in. Alfari staying, he wants to pick up some extra CS. He's actually going to turn this around potentially. Yeah,
he's looking for the barrel as well. Tohaj does get hit by that, but so much damage comes out from Impaler, who jumps back into the fight there. Candy Floss on this front line gets CC'd up a little bit, but looks to be able to get away with this one. Impaler now is going to be that focused target. Lamb's Respite is going to be available though, and is going to pop that. Oh. Gets 1 kill for himself, and he's looking for more as well. Gets kicked back, but Lamb's Respite will keep him alive. And that 3 versus 5 just went with 1 kill over towards the Renegades.
Yeah, and they're going to turn it around immediately because both Yuki and Hiva are making their way back towards this mid lane. And Impaler, look at him go.
Yeah, here we go. Artorias having to wild growth onto himself. Look at the damage coming out from Impaler. Artorias just has to back away. And here we go. Super minions underneath these towers once more. And they can start to try and end the game. Yuki has arrived as well. The Nexus is wide open. And the Banditos, they don't even have to fight, but they're going to go for it anyway. Prosper uses that Monsoon Tohaj, trying to jump to safety. Half past Thor, the first one to go down as Yuki looks to kill people on the Fountain. Nice polymorph. Will deny the culling right there. I don't know if they're going to be able to pick up any more kills. Prosper so low as Hiva dives the Fountain right now. And that is going to be the minions finally ending the game. And absolute bloodbath, but it is going to go the way of the Banditos.
Yep, and again, something that we just expected from the get-go on this game.